Hi there everyone, it is currently the 10th of May 2013 and today we are looking actually at a low pressure area pushing across the Korean Peninsula into western Japan and eventually off towards Tokyo going into our Saturday. Really, this weekend weather outlook looks like a rather wet and damp one across much of northeastern Asia here. Southeastern China, you're still seeing some heavy rainfall, and then some areas here in the northern Philippines, and then down towards the south. We have a weak disturbance pushing across Mindanao and Visayas, which is going to be creating the risk of some flooding and even potentially of some steep sloped landslides. 72-hour rainfall accumulation actually shows quite just what I just said here. That heavy rainfall down towards the south, southeastern China, extending across Japan. You can see a few areas here seeing about 1 to 200 millimeters in the next 72 hours. Where you are not seeing the rain is in northeastern China. Temperatures here expected to soar. 28 in Shanghai, actually expecting to get up into the mid-30s as we go into your Saturday and eventually over there towards Sunday, even extending farther off towards the west in much of central China, also seeing the warm temperatures here as that high pressure does continue to dominate. What we might see is some dust coming out of the Gobi though, and you're likely going to be seeing some haze off towards Beijing. And what most people want to hear about too is the possibility of the cyclone still here in the Bay of Bengal. Well, at least for India's sake, slow formation out of this, the vertical wind shear, it does look like it's going to stay a little bit farther towards the east. That's with the GFS model. Now with the no-gaps model, previous no-gaps here, you can see it develop, push off there towards the north. And in this one, it's becoming more bullish. And the reason why this one kind of shows a little bit of concern towards me is that it really intensifies this storm system. Actually quite strong, even knowing the vertical wind shear there in the northern portions of the Bay of Bengal, and it pushes it into the Bangladesh area. If a storm of that intensity pushed into that low-lying area, as shown here in this model, it definitely would have a deadly outcome and a deadly result, most likely. Well, this is still long range yet again, and we've been saying that all week. This is Tuesday and the Wednesday of next week. But given the overall symmetrical circulation coming around the system right now, you can actually see the low pressure here, and it does have fairly good banding, plenty of moisture flow. The risk of this becoming a cyclone, more and more, it's starting to take some sort of shape, at least on the enhanced infrared imagery. Take a look at the actual infrared image. You can see our area here with that fairly decent banding. Still not named a storm just yet, but still, I would not be surprised if it does so. Also, we had our cyclone down here towards the south. That actually looks less organized at this time than our nicely organized disturbance off there towards the north. One thing that's going to play a factor into this, though, not just the vertical wind shear, but this drier inflow off there towards the north. That, if strong enough, will keep this at bay from becoming a very strong cyclone. And taking a look actually at the water vapor imagery, you can really see that dry air off there towards the north, but just an abundant amount of moisture down towards the south. So at this time, like I've been saying in the past, so I still think much of eastern India still needs to watch this, but now we're switching our attention a little bit farther there towards the north. If this does follow in that general direction, very well could put a landfalling system somewhere farther here towards the north. I do think that it should weaken the farther it gets up there just due to that drier inflow, but well, if that does carry that moisture with it, that no gaps very well could hold true. But let's take a look at what the European model is saying. Actually, from Saturday going into Sunday here, we see it a little bit more organized than the past model runs. Well, this one I like because it's more high resolution. It kind of takes in an account more of the drier inflow, which we are really seeing here. Pull up the relative humidity here by Monday. Really, you can see that drier, and then we go into Wednesday of next week. Well, this is what happens, at least according to this model. It carries that moisture in there. The drier inflow lessens up a little bit, and then, well, at least according to this model, it doesn't really become too much more organized, but it has more moisture with it, which could cause more risk of flooding out here. Well, the no gaps is taking into account that, and also expecting it to intensify. Actually, just pull up the winds really quick. You still see a very weak cyclonic circulation spinning here, winds down towards the south, right at a almost tropical storm intensity. So with that said, though, this is still looking out into Tuesday of Wednesday of next week. It is Friday. I know this is your weekend weather update, so I hope you enjoyed the first half of the video for your weekend weather. This is just hypothetical still at this time, so we continue to monitor this here at westernpacificweather.com. But as always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, could you please post them down into the comment box below, and stay safe out there.